Thank you, Speaker. For the skies are blue above and the grass is green below, in the old Monero country at the melting of the snow. Written in 1902, this is from a work by one of Australia's best-known poets, Banjo Paterson. These few lines do indeed encapsulate our beloved Monero with its vast natural landscapes, its rolling plains and its stunning waterways. The Monero, however, has another environmental feature that's too often under-considered in terms of its importance and biodiversity. Naturally tree-free native grasslands are widespread in the Monero and are an important part of the region's resilience and agricultural productivity. The native grasslands contain a wide variety of species in a range of different compositions. They are nationally protected because they contain collections of plants and animals not found anywhere else in Australia. The grassland earless dragon is an example of the unique species that occur in the Monero. It's grassland specialist with colouring and patterning which provides camouflage amongst the bare basalt soils and dry tussock grasses and is listed as a threatened species. For the past 70 years, landowners and governments alike have been fighting a very real war in the Monero to preserve our native grasslands and agricultural pasture, their common enemy, African lovegrass. This prevalent pest is now endemic to significant areas of the region, with the main infestation in the Murrumbidgee Valley north from Cooma to Mickalego. There are also significant areas of infestation to the south, southwest and southeast of Cooma. African lovegrass is a priority weed in the Monero and can take over pastures and disturbed areas. It degrades pastures as it is not nutritious for livestock. Infestations in our area have been gradually expanding over recent years, mainly due to the good seasonal conditions, and it is now one of the biggest challenges in our region, environmentally, socially and economically. African lovegrass is a perennial grass that grows in clumps up to 1.2 metres tall. The seed head grows towards the end of the stem and presents during summer to autumn. Each seed head can produce between 300 to 1,000 seeds that have a high viability during the first year. For many years, fluproponate herbicides have been the most common method of control, particularly in non-arable country. However, fluproponate is currently unavailable in Australia and it seems unlikely it's going to be available into the future. Consequently, control plans based on this herbicide are no longer valid and will force a change in both attitudes and methods for control. Current research focuses on arable land, evaluating the integration of competitive crops or pasture such as grazing wheat, chicory and lucerne mix, which provide effective suppression. While latest technology and research offers hope, success needs total cooperation across the entire spectrum of government, council and landholders. Lovegrass has already decimated 100,000 hectares and is spreading into 100,000 hectares more. Our first aim must be to stop the spread of infestation across Monero. Over the past few years, this government has taken action in the fight against this formidable pest, both statewide and in the Monero. Some $12.5 million annually is dedicated by the New South Wales Government to fight against weeds, and the two councils in Monero together invest around $3.3 million. In 2018, $375,000 in funding was allocated to help create long-term strategies to improve productive agricultural land and the environmental landscape in the region. We've also delivered several smaller grants, such as the recent more than $10,000 Habitat Action Grant to Cooma Landcare to address the significant problem of weeds along the Cooma and Cooma Back Creeks and to plant native flora species. The Snowy Monero Region Biosecurity Advisory Committee has developed an African lovegrass strategy, proposing the appointment of an officer within the Cooma Local Land Services Office dedicated to halting the spread of the highly invasive weed. The African Lovegrass Coordinator would primarily be responsible for reinvigorating community groups around the perimeter of the infestation and leading a coordinated effort to stabilise and gradually curtail the African lovegrass situation, much the same as the current Wild Dog Coordinator role. Technological advancements such as drones, and highlighted during the inquiry just completed by the Investment, Industry and Regional Development Committee, which I chair, also need to continue to be explored. Such ideas can only work alongside the continued complementary program of lovegrass control on roadsides, high-risk pathways and high-risk sites, including modifying roadside vegetation control practices to reduce grassweed spread. Without such a coordinated strategy, African lovegrass will continue to ravage the Snowy Monero region. As I referred to in my inaugural address to this Parliament on the 22nd of March, invasive weeds and the damage they inflict on one of the most significant agricultural and grazing regions in the country are not necessarily headline-grabbing stuff. Nonetheless, it is of critical importance.